I just came from this audition. Every black woman in the world has gone out for it. People got up out the grave to go audition for this thing. And I'm like, in my head going, I haven't heard about that. When Whoopi Goldberg bought her mansion, neighbors had no idea what was coming. The 8-bedroom house in West Orange seemed normal from the outside, but behind those walls something disturbing was taking shape. Her obsession with certain collections started small. Then it grew out of control. The art pieces inspired by Elizabeth Taylor were just the beginning. What she's been doing in those 23 rooms for over a decade is finally being exposed. The truth about her living conditions will leave you speechless. Whoopi Goldberg was born on November 13, 1955. Her real name was Karen Elaine Johnson. She came into this world in the Chelsea Elliott houses of Manhattan. These public housing projects were overcrowded and dangerous. Families like hers lived with broken heating, pests, and no safe places for children to play. Violence was a daily threat. Poverty touched over 30% of people in these projects. The tough environment taught Whoopi how to be strong. It helped her bring depth and truth to the characters she would play later in life. Her father, Robert James Johnson Jr., was a clergyman, but he left the family when Whoopi was very young. Her mother, Emma Harris Johnson, worked as a nurse and a teacher. Emma did everything she could to care for Whoopi. She worked long hours at 2 jobs just to make ends meet. Whoopi felt unwanted and invisible after her father left, but her mother's hard work showed her how to stand on her own. The bond between Whoopi and her mother grew stronger as they faced life's challenges together. When she was 8, Whoopi found her first escape. It was on the stage of the Hudson Guild Theater. This community center gave kids like her a chance to act in plays. Theater became her safe place. There she found friends, support, and purpose. The stage gave her a voice at a time when she felt she had none. These early experiences in theater planted the first seeds of her future stardom. School was another battle for Whoopi. She struggled with undiagnosed dyslexia. Reading and writing were painful for her, but teachers back then didn't understand learning problems like that. Instead of helping, they called her lazy and dumb. She started to believe she really was broken, but her creativity and humor helped her survive. The school system failed her, but she kept going, holding on to her spirit. In the late 1960s, Whoopi dropped out of the New York School for the Performing Arts. Shocked everyone. This school had trained stars like Al Pacino, but Whoopi chose another path. She became part of the hippie scene. She tried drugs, lived with friends, and threw herself into the wild culture of the time. Many people she knew got lost in that life, but for Whoopi it gave her courage to follow her own way. It taught her to be bold, a trait that would shape her future success. Her teenage years were dark and painful. 14, Whoopi became pregnant. Alone and scared, she tried to end the pregnancy herself. First, she tried hot baths and dangerous drinks. When that didn't work, she used a coat hanger. It was an act of pure desperation. The experience left deep scars on her body and heart. By the time she was 25, she had gone through 6 or 7 abortions. Birth control had failed her over and over. Each time left her feeling more broken and lost. These painful moments turned her into a strong voice for women's rights. At 18, as she fought heroin addiction, Whoopi met Alvin Martin. He was a counselor at the rehab center where she was getting help. He became her support and her friend. They married in 1973. Soon after, she gave birth to her daughter Alex on May 9, 1973. Whoopi was still so young and struggling to stay sober. Life was hard. She and Alvin and their baby shared a single, small room. They lived on welfare and food stamps, trying to survive. They slept in one bed with no space, no comfort and no privacy. These years of poverty left deep marks on Whoopi, but they also made her stronger. Whoopi Goldberg's life changed completely in 1979. That year she divorced Alvin Martin. After 6 years of marriage, their relationship had been full of financial struggles from the very start. She had married Alvin in 1973, when she was just 18. That same year, she gave birth to their daughter, Alexandria. Alvin had once been her substance abuse counselor. They had met during a dark time when she was battling addiction in the early 1970s. After the marriage fell apart, Whoopi packed up with her young daughter and left New York. They set out for California, hoping to start over. They had almost no money. They traveled across the country in cars that kept breaking down. The journey was rough, but it was also a fresh start. Whoopi was determined to build a new life on the West Coast, no matter how hard it was. The pain and struggles of those years shaped the tough, honest comedy she became famous for. To survive in California, Whoopi worked any job she could find. She laid bricks. She worked as a bank teller. She even became a mortuary cosmetologist, using her beauty school training to prepare bodies for funerals. She had answered a job ad in the newspaper without knowing what she was getting into. Once her boss at the funeral home played a cruel prank. He hid inside a body drawer and jumped out to scare her. She fainted from shock. Still, Whoopi took pride in the work. She felt she was helping people say goodbye to their loved ones with dignity. These jobs kept food on the table. They also gave her a deeper understanding of life and death. That understanding showed in her later acting. In San Diego, Whoopi found her artistic voice. From 1977 to 1981, she became one of the founding members of the San Diego Repertory Theater. She threw herself into the work. She also joined an improv group called Spontaneous Combustion. There she learned to think fast.